I've been through enough valleys to finally stop asking why me. I've cried enough tears to start asking, what are you teaching me? It took a long time, but I'm learning. Your word says in Psalm 119:71, it was good for me to be afflicted, so that I might learn your decrees. So even the pain became a classroom.
I have learned to learn
through the nights that wouldn't end.
I have learned to learn
when my strength was all but gone. I used to fight every lesson and run from every test, but I'm finally sitting still and letting you teach me. I have learned to learn in the middle of the breaking.
I have learned to learn
when the answers wouldn't come. What I thought would destroy me was training my heart to trust.
I have learned
to learn, and I'm still learning. I used to demand explanations before I would take another step. I wanted the map, the timeline, the reason for every tear. But some lessons only come when the lights go out. Some wisdom only settles when pride finally sits down. I have learned to learn in the middle of the breaking.
I have learned to
learn when the answers wouldn't come. What I thought would destroy me was training my heart to trust.
I have learned
to learn, and I'm still learning. Listen, some of you are still in the middle of the lesson, and it hurts too much to call it growth. You're tired of the classroom, you're tired of the silence, you're tired of learning the hard way. But can I tell you what I'm just now understanding? The same God who allowed the affliction is the same God who sits with you in it. He is not wasting the tears, He is not ignoring the questions. He is teaching you things you could never learn on the mountaintop. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. I've learned that waiting is not wasting. I've learned that silence is not absence. I've learned that broken does not mean finished. I've learned that you are still good, even here. training my heart to trust.
I have learned
To learn, and I'm still learning, still learning,
still yours,
still yours,
still learning,
still learning, still There were days I honestly didn't know if I could keep going. I smiled when people were watching, but inside I was tired. I had questions, I had disappointments, I had tears I couldn't explain. But one thing I learned: God doesn't promise that the road will always be easy. He promises that He will never leave us alone on the road. So I've cried, I've prayed, I've fallen, but I'm still here. And as long as God gives me breath, I will go on. I've walked through some valleys I never thought I'd see. I've carried heavy burdens that nearly broke me. There were nights I asked heaven, Lord, how much can I take? But somehow when my strength was gone, You gave me strength again. I lost some things I loved, I watched some dreams disappear. But through every disappointment, You were always near. And though my eyes were crying, my heart began to learn. Sometimes the darkest journey is where our faith is born. I may be tired, but I won't quit. I may be wounded, but I still believe. Because the God who brought me this far is not finished with me. I will go on. Though the road gets hard, I will go on, holding to God's hand. I may cry tonight,
But I'll rise again.
but I'll rise again. By the grace of Jesus, I will go on. Go on. By His grace, I will go on. I've learned that every tear doesn't mean I've lost my faith. Sometimes tears are simply prayers when words have gone away. I've learned that closed doors don't mean God said goodbye. Sometimes He closes one door to lead me to a better life. So I won't curse the valley, I won't fear the night, because somewhere in the darkness, God is preparing light. And if I have to walk slowly, I'll still keep moving on. One step,
One prayer,
one prayer
one day.
at a time. Maybe you're tired right now. Maybe you're wondering how you're gonna make it through another day. You've lost something. You've been disappointed. Someone walked away. A prayer still hasn't been answered. And you're asking, Lord, when will this change? I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know this: you didn't come this far for God to abandon you now. The chapter you're living is not the whole story. So cry if you need to cry, rest if you need to rest, but don't bury your hope. You can take another step, and if all you can take today is one little step, take it. Because sometimes
Faith doesn't look like running.
sometimes
Faith looks like
getting back up. So get back up
go on.
and go on.
I will go on.
When I don't understand,
I will go on.
holding to your hand.
I will go on.
When my heart is weak,
I will go on.
because your grace carries me.
Your grace
Hey,
carries me.
your grace carries me.
Your grace carries me.
When I have no answers,
Go on.
when I cannot see the way,
Go on.
when the tears keep falling,
Go on.
when the mountain stands before me, I will go on.
Go on.
I made it through yesterday. I'll make it through today.
God was faithful then.
And is faithful now,
I may bend.
but I won't break.
I may cry.
But I won't quit. Don't quit. Keep believing. Keep walking.
Jesus is
Still with me.
still with you.
I will go on.
I will go on.
Oh, I will go on. Though the road gets hard, I will go on. Holding to God's hand. I may cry tonight, but I'll rise again. By the grace of Jesus, I will go on. I will go on. I will go on. I've walked through some valleys I honestly didn't know if I could keep going. I smiled when people were watching, but inside I was tired. I had questions, I had disappointments, I had tears I couldn't explain. But one thing I learned: God doesn't promise that the road will always be